episode of the DC Breakdown, where we're going to be breaking down Escape from the Bloodkeep. I am your humble Dungeon Master, the Dungeon Coach, and that was my best Brennen Mulligan Dungeon Master impression, because that's why we're here. We're breaking down a Dimension 20 episode of Escape from the Bloodkeep, episode 1. You don't have to have watched it before, but I highly recommend it because it's an amazing little mini series of 6 players of villains. One of that players being Matt Mercer, along with a great cast of other players who are experienced with D&D and not, which is a beautiful blend of everything. And that's what I love doing here, is taking these top tier moments from these amazingly entertaining and high level of D&D play, seeing what we can learn from it, take from it, and put into our games, and hopefully inject some of that fun. And I just finished the EXU Calamity breakdown, where Brennen Mulligan stepped into there as a dungeon master. And based on the feedback in this episode, I am either going to do Escape from the Bloodkeep episode 2 and keep going through that series, or jump back into the Critical Role, because they're going to be going back into those main series now. So let me know what direction you want to go, and we'll keep on breaking these things down from here. But before we dive in, if you like giving feedback and you want to give even more feedback towards the direction of this channel, think about becoming a YouTube member. I just launched a whole series. If you're watching on desktop, you can look right below. There's a join button right next to that subscribe button, or the link's in the description. And there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff through the YouTube interface that I can do and engage, interact with you guys. And your name turns into a different color when you're on the comments and in YouTube live streams, and has a cool little icon next to it that evolves over time as you stay with it. I've literally never mentioned this in a video before, so I figured I might as well now. So let's dive back in. To set the dark stage real quick, these are basically evil PCs, 6 different evil PCs with their own backstories, motives, and goals, and all that kind of stuff, with an evil themed campaign. It's a thing that we've all talked about, thought about, wanted to do, but they're actually doing it at a big stage. I've never seen it been done before. I was super excited, just the concept here. I was first initially excited to see Matt as a player and Brennen as a dungeon master, them two together. It's the first time I saw them together. They've been in many other things before, but I just love that combo. But if you want to stick with it and keep seeing more of this, there's a really cool message that's told over the course of this thing of how truly evil these people are. Or are they? For the first clip, fittingly so, it is Brennen and Matt together in a description of a character and how to take as a dungeon master where your players are going and add to it and go along with them, alongside them, and keep amping things up in the way that they set the tone of. So what's happening is Brennen as a staple to his style, which I absolutely love. I've adopted this as well in certain times that it fits, and it is an amazing tool of these one-on-one intros across the table. There's 6 characters, and they each get a personal, individualized intro that all lead them together in some way, and this is Matt's version of that. His character, which I'll let him describe for you, epically so, he's setting the tone for his character. It's the first time he's talking about his character, and he's setting it out there, and then Brennen chimes in, goes right along with it, and just to set the tone of this character. Here's Matt's description.
You can see the blackened robes kind of flowing as the wind pushes back this singular helmet itself, crowned with about 8 or 9 sharpened spires that kind of hook backward. From within, you can see the very, very faint slits of metallic armor that leaves kind of these vacuous spaces where there's a dull blue glow where the eye should be. As it steps off of the wyvern, his feet heavily onto the obsidian floor, tosses the chain to one of the nearby orcs, and begins to step towards the entrance to the tower spire.
There it is. You see that the other Vingori...
Brennen loves to eat while DMing. I can't. I just get into a zone. I just can't even. And then when the session ends, I'm starving. So, but he is notorious on Dimension 20 for throwing down some munchies mid-session. So this was really fun. He did not do it on Critical Role. I was waiting for it to happen. I did not catch it. So there's that. He did get a drink one time. Anyway, here's Brennen taking the thing that Matt just said, right? Painting this badass picture and going farther with it.
The doors, with no need for servants, open before you in this place. As you, not only do you walk, but you glide several inches above the ground, manifested by the pure might of your fealty to the Lord of Shadows. You and the other Vinguri move through this place, and even with all of the dark creatures that dwell here, things do their best to avoid the Vinguri.
Ooh, so I'm sure that Brennen understands and has talked with Matt about his character beforehand, and knew what his character was. But then, like, based on that description, taking it, adding it, dialing it up to the next level. And as another little note here, if you're dealing with a player that's not Matthew Mercer, and it's just a normal player that's probably not going to have as much of a description or do sound effects or paint the picture of the eyes and the helmet and all that kind of stuff, you can also add in extra stuff that you felt that the player missed to help them tell the thing that you know that they want to do from the conversations you've had before. Maybe they forgot to mention their pet, or they forgot to mention something about something they're wearing that's actually important to the lore, possibly. I don't know. This is your moment as a dungeon master to give them the reins and let them do their thing, and think about, look for gaps, think about and look for the tone that they're describing, and go with it, add to it, lift them up, build them up. Super awesome. For this second clip, oh man, this is also a classic move and a great start to a little campaign, or any campaign, honestly, is a curveball, an absolute player shocked curveball. Look at their faces once this is over. It does a great job of showing the full shock and reaction of everything. But there's a second layer to this, and a second layer tip here. And something that I want to work on as a dungeon master is cutscenes, and being able to describe and lay out a cutscene almost like a video game where something is happening, whether it's a speech or describing a battle or something else really big and intricate going on. But here specifically, Brennen's going to go through a villain speech. This is the main villain of this thing. Again, you don't have to have watched this before, but basically the 6 of them are in a room looking towards this one entity. This is their lord. This is the person they're following. Here we go. What's the orders, sir? What are we going to do? And this, think about it. The players are about to play a villain-inspired thing. This is the big evil boss guy. He's telling us to do something. What's the quest? Quest giver? That's probably where they're all thinking. That's where I was thinking when I first watched this back when it came out. And no, that's not what Brennen had planned. And my God, is there a hardcore shift and another third layer tip here of some Brennen humor here to break up the seriousness of trying to be too serious and awesome. He goes funny and crazy and what? And you'll see. Here we go.
Right now at the door of doom, the forces of light gather. Kassara the beige and Telmia the calm have picked Percival, son of Perival, some ranger from the north, to sit once more on the throne.
Here's their quest.
But it is no matter. We will crush them there, crown or no. And when my talisman is returned to me, then all the lands will fall as well. When my crown is returned, all the peoples of Elna will turn to me and say, fuck, 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 fuck. No, 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 no.
The fire explodes into hot wind and air. You are buffeted back. The throne goes a little pathetic cinder, lies and falls apart into some ash and like gray, ashy embers.
Look at it.
You guys hear the foundations of the structure of the Bloodkeep go, and you feel a vast of arcane energy, spells, and enchantments fading and dying with a wheeze.
Damn, they gonna say all that?
So, wow, did you see? There's so many layers there of awesome stuff that I have literal notes on things I want to improve on as a dungeon master, and this is hitting with a cutscene, setting up the tension, and you see the setup and buildup of this tension, all the things he's talking about these specific named NPCs. We will go here, and it doesn't matter. They will stand no chance, and you get my necklace, and then what? And then. After epic monologue villain scene setting tension, change and crazy and weird, funny, breaking everything to go into a curveball of actually your quest giver's dead. And now we start. And just look at the shock around the table of, wait, what? What is this campaign about now? Our quest, what? Wait, what? Now the next clip is just literally 2 minutes later as the players are still reeling and trying to figure out what the heck is going on? They're going to different places, seeing different stuff, and Brennan's about to describe this massive army of the Lord of Evil and stuff, all about to go away. And then what's happening? And when you do this to your players, understand as a Dungeon Master, your players are going to have to look for answers. And when they do, go with it, and in the way that the players are wanting. And a lot of times you can tell the intent of players and like what they're wanting in the situation, what they're asking for. And a lot of times you're like, yeah, like that would be a better version of technically the way the spell might work in your brain might say no, but yeah, you know, we can totally do that here, because for this situation it might be a good solution to keep moving things forward, especially at the beginning when they don't really know where to go, or if your players are ever in a spot of travel or downtime or whatever in between story arcs, they don't really know where to go. Whatever they do, let whatever they do kind of go a little farther if you need it to. Amy's character can do divination and stuff. She's going to be asking Brennen some things, and let's see what he says.
About 10,000 zombies fall over and just start to rot.
Keeps getting worse.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
shit.
Can I use my
Here we go.
divination for Bones of Fate to talk to my deity and see what is up?
Sure thing.
Okay. So I do that. It is your father. Can everyone hear it? Him?
Yes, everyone can hear him. I'm gonna roll a little thing right here.
Okay.
Why not?
Wonderful.
I don't know what he's rolling.
Yes, Bone Daddy.
So I don't know what he rolled there. It could be some sort of divine intervention type of thing. I don't know how rules is written Brennan's going with this, so there could be some level of stuff, something going on there. But can everyone else hear? Like when players are wanting to include everything. In general, I would say that spell, probably not. It's just a connection to you and your deity. But she had the question, is this is something that can be done? Think of how it would affect your campaign. Again, things like this in a campaign are going to have wider reaching things, and you might want to be more cautious with the campaign because it could be over the long period of time. This is only 6 episodes of this, escape from the Bloodkeep thing. So you're going to be much more likely to say yes, but she wants to kind of include everybody else, so say yes. Now, this is another next level tip that I did pick up from Brennen here. I'm sure other Dungeon Masters do this as well, but it's a huge tip to keep up player engagement. So there's going to be times at your table, you know what I'm talking about, whenever you ask certain players for a check of some kind. Maybe multiple people could. In this case, it's an Arcana check for anyone who can or is proficient or whatever. And it could be in while you're traveling, it could be survival type checks, or while you're doing whatever it is you're doing, you might need to have multiple people make some sort of checks, which takes some time, and they're going to have to wait, and then there's going to be possibly some silence, and they add up, and they roll, and they look at their modifiers, and they do all that stuff, they tell the numbers, and then the other players that aren't involved with that aren't doing anything. They're not rolling, they're not doing any math, they're not waiting for any information, they are just sitting there, which is kind of a sucky thing for them. So if you want to keep up player engagement, watch what Brennen does here when he does ask for the check, but then he keeps describing other stuff in the background for specifically the other players. So you didn't want to engage with this with the Arcana thing, but look at what else is going on, and then it gets their minds going. And I've done the same thing if you're ever running some sort of split groups where you ask one group for some checks, and then, all right, so then what you guys are doing, you're doing this, and that, and then you get to the point where they might want to ask for something, and they have the numbers. That's fine. They can wait. They have a number, and they're going to be more engaged because they have a number, and they know they're about to tell you a number and get some information. So they're not going to drop off out of nowhere. These players, you keep telling them stuff, and then you get them to a spot like, ooh, okay, now you guys make this check, or think about what y'all want to do here. Okay, what are y'all doing? Oh, okay, cool. Now they're thinking, they're looking around, they've felt engaged. Now maybe they want to, see what happened here. And they just stay engaged. Now to the clip.
Go ahead. Anyone who's looking at the book can feel free to give me an Arcana check.
Are we all just like huddled around?
Yeah, you're like huddled over on the table. And you guys hear in the back, like, ah! No, this is so sharp, the pages! Dirty 20 for me. Dirty 20?
Ooh, nice. 24.
24, hell yeah.
So that's it. It's a really simple, short little clip example right there, but that's what makes me think of the bigger applications towards your games at home whenever you aren't at a stage and performing with people for making some content on YouTube. Whenever I watch these episodes, I think about you guys, honestly, whenever I'm doing it, ooh, that's a moment right there. Or he did that specifically, or just thinking of bigger applications of that. Because in this situation, it was pretty simple. He just described something funny that was going on in the background for the others. But in general, a lot of the other players did engage with this Arcana check, and only I think 2 didn't. So he just said a funny comment towards something that just happened based on an NPC that's moving in the background, something about the things he was being attacked by. So keeping running jokes going too. And now a signature send-off that I try to add into my games at the end of sessions. Whenever you get that big picture, you're like, all right, I know We're about 15 or so minutes away from where we could end the session, and plus or minus, do I go? When do I wrap it up? I love to look for a big wrap-up moment at the end to try and end the session onto it. They're hyped up for the next one, and if you can keep doing that, it really does level up your campaign. If you end on the bookend notes, and you can think of, because that's the part that's going to simmer in their head for a week, right? And they don't know what's about to happen, so it's going to level that part of it up. And a great example here is at the end of this episode, he introduces some NPCs that are connected to Matt's character's background. He's going to have a little moment here where he's like, no, them. And that's going to stand out for him specifically. And then NPCs arrive, about to throw down, combat's throwing down, but the session ends, so then you got to end on that. Here it is.
Recognizing the halfling, the hair begins to stand up, the eyes glow.
You guys hear from the promontory that you've left, boom! And Kasara the Beige appears, flanked by Telmir the
Hero.
Calm and a host of elves, and says, "Oh, I see we arrived just in the nick of time. Roll initiative."
Oh, let's go.
And that's gonna be all for this week on Escape from the Bloodkeep.
So that's episode 1. Let me know if y'all want to see episode 2 or me to jump back over to Critical Role. I'm going to be checking the comments about the first day or 2 of this to really get that thing, because I got to be able to film the video, edit the video before this whole thing comes out. And I'm trying to release these type of breakdowns every single Monday. You guys keep loving them. I'm going to keep doing them. I was just reading through the comments and stuff about people where I watch these episodes and then I really do like to see the breakdown, because I'm a player and I normally don't think of Dungeon Master things. So it's a cool little insight perspective. And I absolutely love that. So thank you for everyone who watched these videos. If you are a Dungeon Master and want to level your Dungeon Master game up even more, think about checking out my Patreon. I have DC playbooks that I publish every single month with 30 or so plus pages of Dungeon Master content, homebrew resources to help you with your game prep. And these videos can help you with your Dungeon Master theory. And hopefully they help you keep thinking outside the box. Peace.